everyone. So today we are going to discuss about an interesting subject in this video, why the seawater is salty. Welcome to our channel Art of Learning New Things. Earth, the 2/3 of the surface is covered in water and 97% of that is salty seawater. Only 3% of our planet's water is fresh and 2% is trapped, frozen in ice caps, glaciers and soils. That leaves less than 1% as fresh liquid waters in rivers, lakes and streams. And this fresh water plays a big role in explaining why the sea is salty. That water moves around our planet in a cycle powered by the sun, from the sea to the sky to the land and then back to sea. When the sun heats the water in the sea, it changes into a gas called water vapor and rises into the air through a process called evaporation. While floating in the air, the water vapor cools off and turns back into liquid water, forming clouds through a process called condensation. This water eventually falls from the clouds in the sky as rain, sleet, hail or snow. That's called precipitation. Precipitations fall on land, the water flows into streams and rivers and eventually makes its way back out to the sea. Then the sun heats up the seawater and the cycle starts all over again. You are probably still wondering where the salt comes in. Well, the rain that falls from the sky is not just pure water. It actually contains small amount of chemicals called carbon dioxide and sulfur dioxide, which are absorbed by the water while it is still in the air. This means that rain is actually very slightly acidic, but not enough to do you any harm. When the rain falls on the ground, this weak acid can dissolve small amounts of mineral salts from the rocks, including sodium and chloride, which then enter the water. Sodium chloride is the main salt in seawater and the same one you might have on your table at home. The rainwater flows off the land and into the rivers and streams that lead all the way to the sea, carrying the dissolved salt along with it. Salinity in streams. But if the rivers and streams are carrying these dissolved salts, then why aren't they as salty as the sea? In fact, they are only carrying very low levels of these salts. The salts in the seas have built up over billion of years, and seawater contains about 300 times more dissolved salts than average river water. We get confused. To put it another way, every 1 liter of seawater has 35 grams of salts dissolved in it, while a liter of fresh water would only have 0.5 grams. That's why we say that seawater has a much higher concentration of salt or salinity than the fresh water flowing through rivers and streams. Some salts can also enter the seas from hot vents on the deep ocean floor and from volcanoes on land and in the sea. Some salts, particularly chloride, are also moved around as part of the water cycle. These are known as cyclic salts and originally came from volcanoes. Since salt is always flowing from the land up to the sea, you might think the sea is getting saltier, but actually some of this salt is removed by algae and animals that lives in the sea, and some is deposited as sediment on the bottom of the ocean. So the salt going into the sea keeps a balance with the salt being deposited or removed. Salinity of the sea is not the same everywhere. In warmer, tropical areas, more evaporation occurs, so the water is saltier. Towards the north and south poles, the seawater is diluted by melting ice, so the water is not so salty. This is natural. But these differences in salinity might get bigger in the future because of climate change. Warmer climates may lead to more rain and melting ice in the northern hemisphere and more evaporation in the southern hemisphere, which could change the salinities of our seas. Here that water is, the more dense or heavier it becomes. Along with warmer temperature, this could affect how water moves around in the oceans, which could affect all life on our planet, not just the creatures living in the sea. So guys, this video has been uploaded to reflect the fact that sodium and chloride ions separate out when dissolved in water. Thank you guys. Stay tuned for more videos. Bye bye.